So you've just bought your brand spanking new PlayStation 5 and you want to start playing those exclusive titles. Most games are actually cross-gen. There's not many at the moment. We're going to run through the top PlayStation remakes to play on the PS5. Keep watching. These are in no particular order, so before your tits fall off, just remember that. Unless you're Jada Smith. Shit.
My wife's name out your
Yeah,
fucking
no problem.
mouth.
In number 10, originally released on the PS2 back in 2005, and that is Shadow of the Colossus. You are a young man called Wanda, and right at the start of the game it is simple. You want to resurrect a woman named Mona for a reason we don't really know, and the game doesn't actually really tell you, but we know that she's important to it. To achieve this, you must defeat 16 colossi spread across this huge open forbidden land. Unlike modern day gaming, there isn't any enemies or much to do until you get to these insane bosses. It still feels very immersive when you're playing the game. Imagine if it was Ubisoft, question marks and microtransactions everywhere. I haven't actually played the game, but when I saw this video, I was like, wow, this looks really interesting, especially with this upgrade. And there are some cool updates with this game on the PS5. The graphics have been enhanced, the picture is crisp, and it looks smooth at 60 FPS. Any game on 60 FPS, old or new, it just takes the game to another level. There are some negatives. The controls feel a bit clunky and outdated, and your horseback decides to do whatever it fucking wants, and it can be really freaking frustrating.
Oh, fuck.
What can you do? This is a game I do want to try. Put it on your list. Number 9. This game got a director's cut. That is why it's on this list, because I think the upgrades are pretty cool. Technically, it's not a remake, but still. Death Stranded. Even Kojima said he wasn't actually happy with the name of director's cut. It's simply new content been added. The game is set in the apocalyptic United States, where a cataclysmic event known as the Death Stranded caused beached things or invisible creatures to appear and fuck up everything. I think. You play as Sam, who carries a small baby around with him 24/7, and it is essentially a tool for him. Yeah, that's not really weird. When you're in danger or you're falling, the baby will start crying, essentially warning you about these things. And you can literally rock it back to sleep. I've heard mixed reviews about this game, as you're basically delivering packages around this massive open land, and it can be quite boring with empty spaces. But not only that, you're supposedly trying to save your sister from a terrorist group, so I'm still not sure where this game is going, but it does look very, very cool. And the upgrades that have come with the director's cut, a lot of good feedback has come out of that. New missions and new facilities have been added. Introduced a new car that you can race with, known as the Roadster. New accessories and equipment. BB pods can be customizable, as well as yourself. That's not really weird, is it? Customize your little baby shell thing. DualSense support. And 60 FPS. A game definitely worth trying out on the PS5. Just make sure you're a good dad. Shut up! Number 8. Now we have a game called Yakuza Kiwami. It's an action-adventure game made by the one and only Sega. This was a remake from the PS2 version back in 2005. Mate, that is crazy. The way this game looks, it makes me want to play this game because I don't usually play games like this. It looks really, really interesting. You are an up-and-coming Yakuza officer before he takes the fall for a murder by a mob boss, and that basically haunts you for the rest of the game. It's an authentic Japanese game with English subtitles, and that just adds to the realism of this game of being in Japan. The story is quite lengthy with long cutscenes, but it makes you more invested with the characters. You guys know what I'm like with cutscenes. There are street battles, cutscenes, broken up into mini games. The fighting is varied, and with options to boost abilities, you can choose between multiple attack styles. You use the environment to beat up your enemies. Jeez! On the PS5, you will experience this at 1080p at 60 FPS, and it looks so smooth. I'm gonna check this game out. You should too. Number 7. This game I had a lot of fun with, despite it not really being a game that I usually would go for. Second game, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, was so good that I had to play the first one before I played that. And I recommend that too, because the first one is not as good as the second one, so make sure you play this one first. If you want a bit of fun, that arcadey sort of feel, third person shooter with insane weapons, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this game. You get upgradable weapons and you get so many guns. It's absolute carnage.
Say hello to my little friend.
Hold me closer in.
As soon as they released that 60 FPS update, I played it because I thought, you know what, I'm gonna play the second one, so I want to play the first one. And you won't be disappointed, but definitely a game worth playing. Number 6. This remake comes all the way back to the original one back in 1997, Final Fantasy VII. And if you have the game already and you're a PS Plus member, I do believe you will get the free PS5 upgrade. Set in the dystopian cyberpunk metropolis of Midgar, Square Enix are planning a part 2 to this game, so it might be worth picking up enhanced visuals, new mechanics, and a modern day feel to the beloved RPG. FYI, I haven't actually played the game. When I was searching up this video, I looked at it and thought, you know, maybe it's time for me to actually give a Final Fantasy game a chance. So that is why it's on my list. Don't know much about the story, but I heard the story is very, very cool and there's a few twists. Loading screens are decreased massively and of course 60 FPS. Number 5. I've never played Resident Evil 2, but this is based off 1998. This is a complete remake of the game and it does look absolutely incredible. You either play as Leon or Claire and you're in Raccoon City looking for Claire's brother. The T-virus has reached Raccoon City and your job is to unfold the mysteries of this virus and go through the game experiencing fun puzzles, scary incredible encounters, because it is a Resident Evil game, so we know we're going to get the shit scared out of us. There is an actual PS5 upgrade coming to Resident Evil 2, 3 and 7 near the end of the year, but I still think this is worth picking up. You can still play the game in 60 FPS, so I'm definitely going to check this game out. Maybe playing during the day. Number 4. This was my very first PlayStation 1 memory, and I can't believe this character will be probably owned by Microsoft. Still doesn't make sense to me. Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is a remake of the original 3 games that came out on the PS1. PS1! Jesus, that sound. As well as the insane graphics, you get to play as Coco after you beat the first boss, but I don't really care. The only problem with this game is that it is stuck at 30 FPS, which is so annoying. I'm playing It's About Time and it's just so smooth, so I can't think about going back to 30 FPS. Sony, sort it out!
You need to shut the fuck up!
Number 3. Now, if you're as old as I am, you will remember this little purple dragon. Oh yeah, you've guessed it. Spyro the Dragon. Spyro Reignited is built from the ground up. I'm not even going to convince you guys to buy the game, but because this is my childhood memory right here, I think this is worth a purchase to see how they've improved this game from the original. If you remember the PS1, or if you were to play it now, you'd probably be like, this is kind of shit. But with this remake, they have made some very, very cool upgrades. Basic camera control is introduced, better animations, better dragon designs, and a 60 FPS and smooth performance. Number 2. This game I absolutely loved. As soon as I got used to a certain thing.
Well, this looks like a pretty big height. I don't know why I'm Australian, but let's try jumping.
Demon's Souls is a complete remake from the original back in 2009 on the PS3. And I never played that original one. I can't imagine playing a Souls game back then when I was a kid, because I'll probably end up breaking my control or my console. Just have a look at the game and you will see visually it is absolutely stunning. But be warned, it is a hard game. And again, you have to understand that death is a part of the game. If you played Elden Ring and never played this, you will be like, wow, this is way too hard. But I think this is still a must play if you feel like you want to get tested in a game. The world you go to visit, the insane bosses you meet, and when you eventually do defeat those bosses, after trying them for hours, you will feel so good and it will feel so satisfying. You essentially have to complete the first level at once, because if you die, you have to do the whole thing again. So it's the only thing that can be a little bit frustrating.
Test yourself and put it on your list.
Number 1. I love these games, but these are more of an upgrade more than a remake. But because of how good these upgrades are, this is why these are a must play on the PS5. And that is Uncharted Legacy of Thieves. Includes the Lost Legacy, which I didn't actually play because I don't know why. And then I realized Nathan Drake wasn't in there, but you play as Chloe. With the upgrade of 60 FPS and performance and graphics, both those games are a must play on the PS5. If you have the original A Thief's End on PS4, it would only cost you £10 to upgrade to the Legacy of Thieves and you get the other game with it. Also, in A Thief's End, you get to play Crash Bandicoot on a PS1.
Crash Bandicoot.
Is there a problem?
Run to the camera. Got it.
And the circle button is your spin attack.
That's Inception shit. Let's take a look at the comment of the day from my previous video. I'm addicted to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Shout out to Love Gaming Retro. Love this video. And yes, okay, I will buy the game. I've asked my mate to buy the game so we can play co-op mode, but he probably still hasn't bought it. If you can drop a video a like and a comment, that will really help out the channel. And I think it's time to get on this. What a sound.